Hi. This week we're gonna do a bit of a studio slash adventure vlog because I have a lot of Sewing Nerd Studios business to tend to, and I bought myself a ticket to an event for the first time in like 4 years. So I thought I'd take you along for the ride, just see what a typical week looks like for me. I guess this isn't necessarily a typical week. So I have an event tomorrow. Today is Friday the 11th. I stayed up too late last night, but I had to get the editing done for the video that went up today. I post almost every Friday. I do usually refrain from posting one Friday a month, especially when I'm in the throes of market stuff like this. So I probably should have taken this week from posting, but I don't like it when I can't give y'all a heads up about it. So I'll get through this week, share this journey with y'all, and then, I don't know, I always like seeing the behind the brand type stuff. Hopefully this is interesting. And if not, if it ain't your cup of tea, that's also fine. If you're only here for the sewing projects, I won't take offense. As you can see, there is a tornado of jewelry making stuff behind me. I did a batch of charms that I made. That was the whole video that went up today, was showing you how I do it with the Cricut, and then trying to layer some of the paint colors that I've never done before. So this is all still out because I need to finish putting together some of the cloud and raindrop pendants. I just didn't have a good jump ring size for what I wanted it to look like. So I have a bit of a haul to show you for some supplies that I just got, but I also need to put away these little Burt stickers that I made. These were specifically for the Patreon mail that I sent out for the physical tier perks. I spent way too long working on the Burt art for all of the headers over on Patreon. Feel free to go there. You don't have to sign up to it, but if you want to scroll through and see the different little scenarios that I have him in, I'm very proud of how all of those came out. But let's get back on track. I did have to go acquire some supplies. I have 3 small bags of stuff here, so I'll just go through them. I have one from the Dollar Tree. I did get this little stand so that when I'm working on stuff with colored pencils or paintbrushes, especially paintbrushes, so that way they can dry on this rack, I thought it would be really helpful to have a little stand like this. I don't know. It was one of those impulse purchases, probably something I don't need, but here we are. And I also needed more tape. Then I got some Sharpies. I don't have this shade, even though this is a very me color. And then I found some fine point ones, which, especially if I'm doing more detailed charms going forward, it would be handy to have things I can do finer detail with. I use clear nail polish for everything. Oh, one thing I didn't mention in the charm video I just put out is when I do colored pencil or Sharpie, once all of that's done and it's shrunk down and baked, because it's the shrink film plastic, I coat that stuff with some clear nail polish, where all the stuff I was doing ended up having some kind of colored nail polish on it. So that's why that wasn't present in the project I just did. So I got clear. I don't have any green, so I got that. And then I got this really fun silver. I was hoping to do the clouds that I just made with this type of color, but I didn't have it, so I improvised with what I had. Then I did stop at Walmart because I got myself a bunch of medical braces and stuff because my body hurts all the time, and they're definitely helping. I have had a lot more relief wearing those. I have a back brace, I have a hip brace, I have a shoulder one, I have a compression sleeve for my knee. My knee's giving me a lot of trouble right now. I have some KT tape on it at the moment, and it still hurts, but it's walkable. I couldn't move the other day, so just real fun being in this meat sack. But while I was there, because I'm a monster, I did get some faux leather because this looks like it'll be really good for the bottoms of tote bags and stuff like that. Having something in a neutral, this kind of charcoal gray, buttery but durable feeling vinyl, faux leather, whatever you want to call it. Somehow, once again, I am out of the little teeny tiny bags. I put all the individual pairs of earrings or each necklace in these little bags. I've ended up buying a handful of these the past couple of years, and the fact that there's 100 per means I've made hundreds of pieces. Well, actually, especially if there was a lot of earrings happening, even more than that. Just wild to think about. And yes, I have a bunch of laundry going. We're just gonna have to deal with the noise. This is gonna be a little all over the place, but that's what happens with adventure vlogs, baby. Okay, and yeah, I have used up all of my silver chain somehow. So I got a little bit more because I want some of these charms to be necklaces and not just all earrings, because I know not everyone has their ears pierced. And I do have stuff, I can make them into keychains if someone wants. Right, and I also got this kind of brassy color because I specifically want the mushrooms to go on something like this. It just looks like a more woodsy color of metal, you know? So I want a couple of necklaces that have this combo going. And I got some fine point paint markers because, again, I want to do more detailed stuff for the charms going forward, and specifically black and white seem like really good colors to have. Lastly, I stopped at Michael's, and like I said, I needed some other jump ring sizes, so I got a 6mm and a 5mm. I think that's going to cover all my bases because I have much smaller than this, and then I have much bigger than this. This is going to make me like these cloud and raindrop earrings a lot more. And just for good measure, I got another roll of chain there. This is 10 yards, and I mostly wanted to make sure I had some for the in-person event tomorrow, because if there's only earrings of one design left and someone wants a necklace, I don't want them to not be able to have the jewelry that they want. So I can just bring some pliers and some of this and some lobster clasps and swap it out, and it's no problem. I've done it a bunch of times at previous events, so just want to give people the option because I don't know how many of what thing to bring. Oh, and good. I thought I had lost the receipt, but it was in the bag. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna hammer out the rest of these. Then later I gotta like go to the grocery store and grab some snacks for tomorrow and do just house groceries. Make sure I get some Gatorade or something in that territory because water just doesn't cut it for me when I'm doing stuff like that. And let's just pray that my knee doesn't completely eject itself from my body over the next 24 hours. But I actually am being extremely lazy about it this week, where I had an event this past Saturday and I just left all my stuff in the truck, like in the cab, because I drive a pickup, if I've never mentioned that before, and I put the big display pieces like the garment rack and any of my shelving stuff in my cube grid setup, which I just keep together because it takes too long to make into the layout that I want, and I don't have time to do that every time. And I have a truck, so why not just bring it pre-set up? So I took all the stuff out of the back, but everything, basically all the inventory that was in the cab, I've just left there because I had, you know, a couple appointments this week, but it's not like my truck was sitting out in the wild much, so I wasn't worried about something happening to the actual like things I'm trying to sell. Specifically, my approach with my Etsy shop and my in-person events is I want someone to be able to come and get a whole ensemble for themselves. If they want a new dress and then some jewelry to go with it and a bag, they can like get the whole kit and caboodle in one go. And I just really like that idea. And of course there's like a nerdy kind of spooky bitch flair to a lot of the stuff because that's me. That's how I am. And I have learned that like trying to make stuff I think other people will like ain't the way to go about it. I need to make stuff that I like, basically stuff that I would wear. It definitely comes across that like that's my style sense, and people pick up on that. I definitely think people pick up on that, like you're being true to yourself or not. Sounds like Bert is getting up, so I'm gonna go take him outside, get some water, and then get to work in here. I will check in tomorrow morning once I am event ready. Wish me luck. Good morning. I'm leaving 1 minute later than planned, but for my track record, that's pretty good. This is what the mess in here looks like. And then I got a bunch of stuff in the back of the truck. So off to the event. I slept very well last night. I went to bed like 8 something p.m. and then let myself sleep in until 8 something this morning. Off we go. Let's do the dang thing. Okay, I'm back home. It's the next day. I was absolutely knackered after the event, but it went well. Not like the greatest event I've ever done, and certainly not the worst. Feeling okay about it. Where, yeah, something about like the first hour of events, I never seem to sell stuff, and then I just really try to not nosedive into a self-hatred spiral. I got a bunch of takeout, and then we watched Exit Through the Gift Shop, and then I went to bed very early. So I still have to unpack my truck and then try to clean this stuff up. This is the problem with having such a small shop, is my display pieces I use as storage in my studio. So I have to take everything off of them to bring them to events and then put everything back once I'm done. I need to at least get everything inside because I'm heading to Boston in like half an hour, so I have a little window of time. I am going to go fabric shopping before I go to the event I'm going to, so I will bring you along if they let me film inside, / if they're actually open today, because listen, it's Super Bowl Sunday and some people give a shit about that kind of thing, so I'm just trying to like limit my expectations for today. All right, honestly, this always goes quicker than I think it's going to because it just feels like so much, but also everything's in bags and like has a home. It's not like I have to go through stuff to find where it's supposed to be. It's just that its home got rented out for a little bit. So now we're back to the view I always see when I am talking to y'all, which is the giant glowing boobs. But yeah, I even vacuumed, everything's all reset, and I'm excited. And I rediscovered my Steve Bonnet cosplay bag. It's I need to just make it. I need to just start it. So I'm going to keep this in front of my sewing machine and not let myself work on anything else until I at least get into this. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gotta happen. All right, I'm gonna make myself some food and then off to Boston. I honestly haven't been to the city in, 4 years. Since late 2019. Kind of don't know what to do with myself, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what to expect in general because I've never been to a book tour, let alone a cookbook book tour. But I have seen Antoni do an event in person once before, and it was like a fun little variety show, and there was food involved, but he wasn't cooking it, and that was such a fun night. So I'm hoping this is even like a percentage of what that was. Now that my truck isn't completely chock full of inventory, off we go. Okay, I don't need to be this winded. A thing I do when I'm out in a city is I find either a grocery store or a Target, and that's where I use the bathroom. Just because it's big enough, nobody's gonna question it. You know, I don't feel guilty about it versus like a teeny tiny store that I'm not purchasing anything in. I don't let myself buy any fabric, even though I wanted all of it, because they have some gorgeous stuff in this store, and it is ridiculously cheap. Like anything you could think of. It doesn't look that big, but they are not lacking for anything. Like I really racked my brain to try to think of stuff I can't find at, Joann's or a Michael's or something. They had everything. So I got 20 yards of this braiding and then 5 yards each of these colors. It was $40. And that's including sales tax, which we don't have in New Hampshire. And I forget about every time. And it's for bags I'm making for my Etsy shop or in-person events or like maybe even for video stuff. So it counts as a business expense, which is nice. But yeah, I'm very pleased with myself. Now it is an hour before the event starts and it's nice enough out. I think I'd be willing to wait outside for some stretch of time, but not longer than an hour. Also, Shark Week arrived, even though it happened like 2 weeks ago, and I am literally on medication to stop it from happening. So that's been fun, and it's day one, which is always the worst. So yeah, having a great time. I was going to meet up with friends after the event, but that is absolutely not happening. I'm just going to go home and eat leftover Chinese food and watch, I don't know, a movie I can fall asleep to. But first, Antoni. Oh, hi. I'm winded from walking uphill, and also I got scared by some church bells going off. The Antoni event was great. I got the cookbook. Antoni, let's go to dinner. It was delightful. He's as adorable and wonderful as I remember him being from the last event I saw him at. I never saw his book tour for Antoni in the Kitchen. I don't remember why I couldn't make it. I know he did a Boston date, but I had to miss it. But I saw him in 2019 for my 30th birthday because my lovely sister, Jenna, took me to Antoni and Friends, his little like variety show, I guess, in New York City. It was wonderful, like pure joy. Yes, that was the event where I did not know who Gigi Hadid was, even though she was like feet away from me. Obviously none of this is sponsored. Could you fucking imagine? But they were giving out some of the food brand that him and JVN have going. And because Bert's a little old guy, I got him a hip and joint supplement to mix into his dinner. And then there's a calming daily hemp oil supplement, which he's a pretty neurotic dog because that's just how dachshunds are. So we'll see if that helps. I bought the cookbook. I was in line to ask a question because they did a Q&A at the end, and I was literally the cutoff. They had everyone in front of me able to ask a question, but I had to go sit, and I was bummed because I feel like I had a good question, but that's okay. I'll survive, I'm sure. But yeah, I feel absolutely terrible. I felt like I was gonna pass out halfway through, so I had to like run to the bathroom, so I missed him talking shit about my least favorite hero, Ari, from the first season of Queer Eye. He's just a pathological liar and a very frustrating person, obviously from the edit I saw on the episode of Queer Eye. But I have felt for everybody else except that one person, and that seems to be like everyone else's experience that was in that room as well. And yeah, he was talking about it, but I had to get up because I didn't know like what was gonna happen to me. So I'm gonna eat a bunch of salty food. I packed a ton of snacks. I have like a sandwich. I have a almond butter because I can't do peanuts anymore, and I'm gutted about it every day. But I made like a almond butter and jelly on an English muffin. I had a breakfast sandwich on my way down, and I also made like another little like bulky roll sandwich just if I'm super hungry on the ride. And then I have the rest of my night free. I think I'm gonna go to bed early because I am in a tremendous amount of pain and I'm starting to get super nauseous again. So gonna, yeah, take the rest of the night off, and then tomorrow hopefully start taking some Etsy photos for the shop. Since I'm doing this video instead of like an actual project, I'm hoping that will like squeeze in some time. Also, there is a mockingbird right there. I both love and hate mockingbirds. They're super interesting because they used to like impersonate my cat when I was a kid. And then my godmother had this frog statue that was like a motion sensor thing in our driveway. So every time anything went by it, it would go off. And then the mockingbird would try to impersonate that too. And it was one of the most haunted sounds I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, thanks for coming to my bird TED Talk. Fuck. I'm like not looking forward to the drive because it's February, like mid-February, meaning it's at the point in the year where a lot of damage has been done to the road because of the winter. So a lot of potholes and stuff. And Massachusetts is notorious for not getting on that particularly quickly. So, oh, and I got to text my friends that I'm not going to come hang out. So it's going to be fine. 45 minutes to an hour from now, I'm going to be home and I can just curl up with Bert on the couch and just conk out for the evening. So it'll be good. It'll be good. Okay. Thanks for coming on this little adventure. It was good. It was a super good crowd. I did sit on the very back corner because I wanted to either be very front row, but I didn't get there in time for that, or like very back on the corner. And thankfully, like I was able to get that spot just to limit the amount of people I was around. So that was super helpful. And yeah, like I said, halfway through, I had to get up and leave, which was a bummer, but I can't help my body doing what my body's gonna do. So yeah, it's all good. I will see you tomorrow once we're taking Etsy photos. I hate doing it, but it's gotta get done. Okay, so it is Monday. I did not sleep super great last night just because I was in all of the pain and thought I was gonna be really sick. So it was just back and forth to the bathroom, but so goes my life. I wasn't completely honest about the mess in here yesterday. So I'm, gonna put these stickers in the bin where I keep all my like shipping labels and everything. But there's also all of this, which is mostly receipts that need to get filed. I mean, some of it is stuff I need to file for my taxes, which is not gonna happen today. I know myself well enough to know that I don't have the brain power for that this week, at least not today. So I have a bunch of physical receipts from in-store purchases for supplies and stuff for the events I've been doing. And I also have to renew my P.O. box. I wonder if I can do that online. I'm going to see if I can do that online. I renew it every 6 months because I need a business address for my business and I don't want it to be my home address. Oh yeah, I do. I have this massive heating pad on, which is helping. So at least there's some relief today. And I got out of bed. So like, that's the biggest victory of all. If I get anything done today, I will be proud of myself. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see how much we get done. I have D&D tonight, which I've only ever done it virtually, and we're over a year into this campaign, so I'm looking forward to checking in with everybody. Oh, except we had homework that I forgot about until today. At least that's like fun homework I can do later on, maybe when I'm taking my lunch break with little Bert, who is still asleep, by the way. He's still curled up in bed. I was talking about P.O. Box, right? If I haven't mentioned this before, a thing I've learned is that ADHD, I mean anxiety and depression symptoms as well, get so much more severe when I am going through my menstrual cycle. So like I just am trying to meet myself where I'm at as far as my expectations for performance this week. And honestly, got out of bed, great, got dressed, have actual real people clothes on, which does help get my head in a better space to like get more stuff done in the shop. Heated up my coffee and remembered it in the microwave while it was still warm. So we got a bunch of wins so far under our belt. But yeah, like I know I'm gonna be extra scatterbrained and just can only work with what I got. Anyway, P.O. Box, it does in fact exist. Okay, so just for accountability's sake, I still have my bag of my Steve Bonnet cosplay stuff right here. I'm not gonna let myself work on anything else sewing wise, but I do need to do this paperwork first. So I have a bunch of these, and then I have like online receipts from my table fees because I had to pay for the market I did Saturday. So I have that invoice to file away. I have like my QuickBooks subscription, which is the program I use to take care of all of my tax paperwork and receipts and business expenses, all that. I have to submit my mileage from the event I did. And actually, I wonder if the drive to the fabric store yesterday counts. I'm pretty sure it does. I think that works, but definitely for the event, like the parking. Oh, I also paid for a table for an event in May. I'm debating paying for one in September for the Granite State Comic Con. I can't decide if I'm going to do it this year or not. I guess I can see how the free comic book day event goes and then go from there. It's so expensive, which yes, means I don't run my business very well, but I'm getting there. I'm working towards like a more cohesive look. Convention stuff is different from like other markets. Even the Mill Number 5 events I do is very different from a farmer's market event or like the craft fairs I've been putting together at the brewery that I work at. You kind of got to cater your stuff to slightly different crowds. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but I think I'm procrastinating filing this paperwork. I am curious how long this is going to take because normally I file receipts within like a week or 2 weeks of having a receipt to file, but I haven't done any, probably a month at least. I think since January started, I don't think I filed a single one. I don't like when I can't just get stuff done in one fell swoop. So things like Etsy updates are that much more daunting for me, but I'm telling myself right now, it's okay if I only get bags photographed today or only some of the garments. Like it's okay if that doesn't all get done today. Any amount that I do is less that I have to do later. So yeah, I am gonna start filing receipts. It's 8:54, so I will check in once this is done. Okay, it's just over an hour after. I did go down a rabbit hole of my medical chart because I forget that that stuff is online, and I had a physical last week. I had to update something. I also cleaned out my entire inbox for my email, so that's part of it, because if I have an online receipt for something, I just kind of like leave it unread to deal with later. So I had a lot of like email organization to do. But an hour is like kind of what I was hoping for. I wouldn't have been surprised if it got to like 2. I do have, I don't know what you call this, a little thing that I file my receipts away in. I have one for each year and then it's organized by month. So I just keep all the like physical ones in here. I have separate folders in my email for like 2022 receipts, 2022 shipping receipts, because shipping adds up very quick because running an Etsy shop, and when I send out physical Patreon perks. So I don't want those getting cluttered with like a receipt from a pattern that I purchased, which I forgot I bought a pattern. I printed it out already, so I would have like stumbled across it, but I bought this like historical skirt. I've never seen a skirt that goes together this way, so I'm excited to make that, but that is not the priority at the moment. I have this little file fax thing, and then this is a pile of stuff I keep on top of. Oh, this is where Bert sleeps under my desk. This is the sewing machine I use when I'm at home, but I'm doing uniform store work, because this is from the uniform store. And then I have this little hanging folder bin thing that I put all of my paperwork. So tax forms, car paperwork, pay stubs, all that stuff goes in here. I'm going to put these in their corresponding months and then put this back in the little folder that it goes into. And then I'm going to set up my light box and we can start taking pictures of some bags and such. I'm really not looking forward to doing it, but if I don't think about it and I just like get the ball rolling into it and just kind of like let it snowball into what will make up the rest of my day, I basically need to go on autopilot and not let myself think about it too much, or else I'm not gonna get it started. Hi, so now it's almost 11:30 and I still haven't gotten my photo box sorted out because I had an email that I needed to look at from YouTube saying that they updated some like music accessibility, and I've been meaning to maybe change up my intro song because that's actually like a sped up version of a free song in the audio library, and I feel like there's just more me options available, but I never take the time to go through because there's so much and you have to narrow it down and it takes ages. So I've spent about an hour and a half getting some sound effect clips, some intro options, some like time-lapse interlude type music, and renamed everything to kind of get the vibe. And there's also a folder called Cinematic Piracy for the eventual Steve Bonnet videos and probably others because it's just fun music. But I figure if I title them in a fun way that makes sense, and especially when there's like imagery in my head. There's one that's just Rainy Window, and that's not the original name of the song, it's just what it makes me think of every time I listen to it. I'm excited to have this because it's been something I've been thinking about every time I edit a video. It's like, it could use a little extra pizzazz, but I don't have time to do it then. I didn't mean to do this, it just kind of happened. My hand slipped and it's been an hour and a half. Have a completely updated music library. Anyway, I am officially done doing computer things, I swear to God, at least until it's time to like sit and edit some photos, which I now need to take. I have not eaten breakfast yet and it's 11:30, so I am gonna go make some food. Oh, look who decided to join. Hi. You can come say hi? He wants to say hello to his people. I take it you finished all your breakfast? You didn't have trouble finding it? Did your little hound nose work today? Oh, thank you. Stinky kisses. So I store my mini bags in this big container. The other side has all my jewelry in it. And if I'm selling any jewelry, I like to bring some of my tools and findings, just so if there's something that's only earrings, but they want a necklace, I have the stuff to swap that over. For example, there was a woman that bought my last pair of Ramona Flowers earrings, but she asked if she could get 2 separate keychains. So I had all of the stuff to do that. And she's just like, this is the greatest booth I've ever been to. She was really sweet. In an effort to have all this available, I realized there was a smaller size jump ring I was missing, because I don't know if you can see the bigger size in here. I had a ton of those in my cabinet of curiosities that I have in the shop, but I saw these other bins that have, you know, empty jewelry boxes and sewing notions and all the pliers here. And then I have like some pins, but it didn't occur to me to look anywhere else for some other size jump rings. So I went on this big odyssey last week to find size 6mm or smaller jump rings. And wouldn't you know it, the whole time I had like 1,000. There's 2,000. I have 2,000 in here. I cannot believe that I did this. Oh, and there's even more chain in here. I am intolerable sometimes. I got a bunch of lobster clasps. I thought I was running low on those. So this is what happens when I bring stuff with me to a second location, is I forget to like aggregate it all together, if that's the right word to use. I guess that's just extra incentive to make more jewelry. There are certainly worse outcomes, so I'll survive. These little clasps are not as tight as they used to be, just from overuse, and I had a Velcro strap wrapped around it so that it wouldn't come apart, because one time I was at an event and this side, which has even more stuff in it, this is all my jewelry, it fell open and it just went everywhere. And it was in the middle of an event because I was going to grab something for a customer. So it was just total mayhem. Also, in here are these new little jewelry hangers that I made because I just wanted a better way to display my necklaces and earrings. And I realized like I can put a whole set, like if I have earrings and necklaces of the same charm, I can just hang them together so that it's all easy to find if someone wants one or the other or a whole set. I cannot tell you how proud of these I am. All right, back to taking more photos. I have my newer jackalope bags photographed finally, because I just haven't listed these anywhere. And this is the thing I'm most proud of. I printed my own fabric, and then I also have this slightly shorter bag that just has the most chaotic knockoff Alice in Wonderland. I don't know what happened here, but I had to buy the fat quarter, and it's got a fun colored zipper and inside. I don't understand, but I love it. Plus I still have a handful of wristlets that I made, I want to say like last fall, like late summer. That's right. I think I had it for an event in August, and these are the ones that are left over. And I just really like the color blocking and the zipper coordination. That's part of all the strapping that I bought yesterday, is to just have this part of the process down to just a way less time consuming part, because making the bag part is not too bad. And even making this little bit and adding the D-ring, not too bad. But something about making the strap for all of these, like I hate it so much. And I'm actually toying with the idea of just making detachable ones so I can have the little loop with the D-ring on the end of the bag. And then if people want to add a strap to it, they can, because I know not everybody wants it to have a strap. Some people just want it as like a little travel bag or whatever. Perhaps a makeup pouch. I can leave it up to y'all. And then that also cuts out unnecessary work on my end, which would be great. The time I put into making those bags, when they have those matching fabric wrist straps, I mean, it probably adds the amount of pressing and ironing, like attaching the interfacing and folding it in a certain way, because I can't just sew it right sides together and then turn it right sides out because it looks like absolute dog shit doing it that way. So to make it look nice, it takes so much work, and I absolutely hate doing every second of that. So I want to continue enjoying making my inventory. And also I feel like a nylon strapping, like the braided stuff I got yesterday, is just going to be more durable because that's what that stuff is built for, where, you know, it's interfaced double/quadruple layered up fabrics. Like, it's going to hold up, but strapping is made for making straps. So I feel good about these decisions I'm making. All right. It is occurring to me the rest of the week is gonna be filled with all the other jobs and then editing this. And it is currently 3 p.m. I'm gonna need to edit the photos, which is just cropping them and then adjusting the brightness and warmth and stuff to accurately depict what the colors of the bags are in person, like as best as I can, because I want it to be true to form, as close as you can get without actually touching it with your own hands. That's the problem with shopping online and why I don't like doing it, but not everyone can be in the Northeast United States and make it to the markets that I do. I'm making the executive decision to spend the rest of the afternoon. Okay. My knee is still hurting. I can walk now, but there were a couple days last week where like that was severely limited. I do need to bring in some firewood, so I think I'm going to do that next and then make some lunch because I'm feeling very lightheaded and dizzy, and I think I need to rest. So I'll grab my laptop and then chip away at the pile of photos I need to work on. And then I think I'm going to start editing this, because just to give a glimpse into what my week looks like this specific week. This will be going up Friday. So I edited last Friday's video Thursday night. I mean, I did a little bit on Wednesday, but I had other non-sewing nerd work to do. And then most of Thursday was actually spent at one of my part-time jobs. Then yeah, the entire like night, I think I was up till 1:30 or something in the morning. And then Friday posted the video. Then that led into, you know, the start of this where I explained all the prep I was doing, and then the event Saturday. And then yesterday was like my chore day. And then the window of time I had to myself, I went to Boston. And that was a shorter trip than I had originally planned. But the way I was feeling, I could not handle anything more than that. And I am still not in great shape today, which is frustrating. And I try to just like push through and rage my way through the body issues that I have. This is why I joke it's a lemon body, because I feel like there's always something wrong. Like, there's not a single day that there isn't a decent amount of pain in one of my joints. Always my shoulder, specifically this one. Sometimes the right side flares up in addition to that. Sometimes the left is like so bad I can't even turn my head. I've laid on the floor to do some stretches and not been able to get myself back up. It's kind of a roll of the dice as to what other joint is hurting. Elbows are the only thing I don't seem to have issues with. So I just deal with it as best I can, but I'm trying to listen to my body more and give myself the rest time and space that I need. Also, I'm hoping I can even get lunch down, because the nausea I'm feeling from what I assume is the cramps, but also I watched one TikTok where there was a guy standing under his ceiling fan, and the limited amount of spinning just from watching that like 4-second video did not help my situation, because that's how hair trigger my motion sickness is. I will never be able to do VR, and I just have to come to terms with that. But anyway, so I'm gonna work on Etsy stuff / potentially start editing this. And I don't feel like filming myself editing this because that seems too deep into the inception hole. I think you know what me sitting at a laptop looks like. In total, I'm probably going to be putting in about 12 hours today. That's pretty typical for a Monday for me. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be at the uniform store job. I'm scheduled to be there tomorrow. And then again on Thursday, I'm also working a tasting event about 45 minutes away from me for the brewery on Thursday. So that's going to be like a very long double shift day. And then Wednesday, I'm also working in the tap room, but I have an appointment in the morning, so I'm not technically working till the second half of the day, but I am forever like stuck when I have an appointment and can't get myself to do anything before it happens. So I kind of call that a wash in the mornings and just let myself do some tidying and kind of dawdle around and cook myself food and make sure I get some extra Bert time. Being gone as much as I'm gonna be this week out of the house, I don't get as much hang out time with the little guy as I would like. And then Friday will be the day that this goes up. And then, so I don't forget to mention it, I am going to take next Friday off from posting a video. Promise you, I will not allow myself to work on anything other than Steed Bonnet cosplay stuff as far as next video. So that'll be what, the first Friday in March? This is going up on the 17th. I'm gonna take the 24th of February off, and then I'll be back here on Friday, March 3rd with the start of Steed Bonnet stuff. Even if I just make the little necklace brooch thing, there's a whole extravagant situation I'm thinking of putting together, and I think that'll be a good time to do that. But yeah, as I was finishing up filming some stuff for a TikTok, which will then get put into an Instagram reel, everything having to do with running your own small business online involves being a content creator. And I view all of the shop stuff as like a separate animal from this stuff. This feels like a completely separate job. And I love this. I mean, I don't like having to post the link everywhere and like promote myself. I really, really hate that side of it. But this sucks the ever-living soul out of me, and I really don't enjoy it. Repetitive photo taking, it's so wildly uninteresting, and then the whole time I'm thinking about how it's going to have to get edited and cropped down and make sure that I'm going to have a good ratio for the Etsy photos, because they don't let you crop as much as you want to, which is super frustrating. And also thinking how I'm going to write the description to make it sound catchy, and if I'm going to do separate listings for each bag or have like a dumpling pouch listing and then have, you know, color options for each of them, and you can pick whatever one you want. Would save on listing fees, which is nice. And I am thinking about doing that because I find that less overwhelming going to someone's shop. If there's like variations of a color of the same thing, I'd rather them all be under the same listing so I can scroll through and pick what I want versus scrolling through pages of the same thing, just slightly different variations, if that makes any sense. I don't know if y'all have any advice for how to go about doing that. I think getting off Etsy is the first move, but we all know how I completely shut down when I even start to think about it. Yeah, just this is gonna be the end of my like sewing nerd work for the week, other than, yeah, doing little spurts of photo editing and posting listings and then editing the video. So I'm gonna end this part here. If I get an Etsy order, I'll show you how I pack it, but I've gotten 2 Etsy orders this month and I got 1 last month. So like, it's very unlikely that something's going to happen in the next couple days, but you never know. That's like not a super positive attitude to have with it, but I'm forever exhausted by that goddamn website. Okay, hi. So I did get an Etsy order. Bert's doing his puzzle feeder, so if you hear a bunch of like banging around, it's intentional. I mean, not for the background noise, but he's supposed to be doing that. This is actually an order for my dear friend Samowitch, who, if you don't follow, I cannot recommend enough that you do. She's the best. So she ordered some Steven Universe earrings, just these little charm guys. So I pack any of the jewelry I have in these little jewelry boxes. Actually, I have been trying to stamp them as I use them because I made a little stamp of my logo, like a little lino cut block. This little tiny guy here. And honestly, there's probably still ink on this, so I can, yeah, I'm getting it on my fingers. I can probably do this right now. All right, not the most crisp lines, but I'm sure Samo will not judge me for this. I'll definitely have to re-ink it for the next round of decorations. And she didn't order this, but I'm sending it to her because I want her to have it. Is the I made a keychain off of the season 2 like teaser photo for Our Flag Means Death that one of the creators put out because it just looked really cool. We need more mermaid stuff. I feel like we have every other mystical thing having its renaissance, but mermaids haven't been that. Yeah, he said he's gonna help pack. I mean, you don't have opposable thumbs, so I don't know how you're gonna help. You just want to send her some stinky kisses? Okay. Okay. Okay, then she also got one of my little keychain bags where I've never listed these before. And honestly, these are like one of my favorite things to make. She ordered my second to last depression robe from Our Flag Means Death. Little drawstring dice bag. That, yeah, this is the fabric I printed myself and I love it so much. All right, so let me show you how I'm gonna pack this order. It's gonna have to go up parcel mail, so I'll grab one of my bubble mailers. Or actually, I think I'm gonna send one of my poly mailers. These are the mailers that I use. I get these big poly mailers. Then I have 2 different size bubble mailers, depending on what's going on. I'm down to my last couple of the 5x7, so I'll probably need to order more soon. Though to be completely honest with you, I've gotten so few Etsy orders the past like year that I'm not gonna stress about rushing to get more of these. I'll just use them up, and then, you know, if I get an influx, cool. They get here pretty quickly, but I'd rather not have a bunch of excessive stuff sitting around. And if I don't have to spend more than I need to on packing materials, I would rather not. Call me crazy. All right, this is probably overkill, but whenever I wrap one of the jewelry boxes with tissue paper, I try to correspond the color of the earrings or necklace or whatever with the tissue paper that's going on the outside, just for that extra little touch, you know? Then I'll just tape the ends with some washi. All right, so when I can, I try to go turducken style with this, where if I can fit a bag inside of a bag and fit other things inside the inside bag. So keychain's gonna go in here, and then the little jewelry box, cute, cute. Then I'm gonna tuck that into the dice bag, and then I will wrap this with some tissue paper. All right, so this is packed and ready to go. I'm gonna weigh it on my scale that Carrie, Invisible Goddess Creations, so generously sent me. And then I will print the label using Pirate Ship, which she also tried to get me to use for a long time. And I was like, there's gotta be a gimmick. And there's not a gimmick, it's just cheaper shipping. 10 out of 10 recommend. Even international. And all you have to do to get the international is message them and be like, hey, I would like to send international packages. And then they just let you do it. You don't need to pay fuck all. It's great. And their customer service is exceptional. Cannot recommend them enough. It's why I was able to keep my shipping costs low even with the increases from the post office. All right, back to previous me who was wrapping up the video, I believe. Anyway, put my leg up so that the swelling will go down, and oh, right, I gotta get firewood. I'm gonna get firewood, then eat, and then sit for the rest of the day. Some of that will still be working, but then I will relax and play D&D with my friends, and it'll be great. Thank you all for joining me on this little adventure. I appreciate any of the views that these videos get. I know there's not a huge reach, and I make pennies a week, maybe a couple dollars over the course of the month in like December when the pay rates are a lot higher for advertisements and people are just watching it more. Everyone's like home dealing with their families that they don't want to be around, but thankfully, I am very privileged to not have to worry about the AdSense revenue because everybody over on Patreon, y'all let me do this. I get to spend my whole day working on this stuff and have at least part of the work I do every week be at home, so I can also give myself the space when I'm not feeling my best to adapt and work around that. I mean, to be fair, I definitely work myself harder here than at my other jobs, but that is something I am trying to work on in therapy. I get not scolded, but reminded that it's something that I'm trying to prioritize, and yeah, I get to do that because of y'all. So thank you so much for absolutely everything. Let me know what projects you're working on this spring, if you have any fun cosplay stuff coming up, if you have any events you're going to. Also, if you just want to tell me like what show you're watching or movie, or if there's some good music you've been listening to, I would love to know just what you've been into. All right, I'm gonna go. I will see you all back here in 2 weeks on March 3rd. Yeah, Friday, March 3rd. Thank you so much for hanging out. Okay, remember when I said I'm really bad at making myself like proper well-cooked meal? This is dinner goddamn champions. Staying on track is, you know, not my forte.